Download link is in the description below. Hello, I'm FluffSploder, and I'd like to introduce you to FluffRig version 2, a simple and fun fluffy rig for you to pose, animate and tinker with to your heart's content. This video will give you a quick rundown of some of the rig's features and how to adjust the fluffy to your liking. However, before we get too far into this, I'd like to give a few heads up. This isn't an animation, so I'm afraid our little buddy here won't be exploding, burning, frying, popping, getting stabbed, shot, launched out of a cannon, boiled in acid, ran over, thrown in a bathtub filled with piranhas, or dying of boredom after filling out its tax forms. Don't worry, there'll be more of that coming up, but this is to introduce the rig for 3D animators and modelers to play with. If you're new to 3D modelling and animation, I'm afraid I won't be giving any intensive tutorials or advice in this video. This is intended for people with at least a basic grasp of Blender's interface and how to animate a character. However, there are tons of wonderful tutorials and resources these days to help you get started. If this looks interesting to you, just search YouTube and you'll find plenty. Lastly, I'm no professional by any means, so there may be flaws and issues with this rig I may have overlooked. I've done everything I can to keep the rig as simple and user-friendly as possible, but there may be some jank. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. Here are your basic controls for handling the FluffRig. The circle below the fluffy is their root bone. Use this to rotate and reposition your fluffy in your scene. Inside the circle are 4 more smaller circles, each one controlling an individual leg. You can rotate the hooves as required for gestures, interactions, and to align it with the ground. This big green square controls the fluffy's torso so you can control the position of their body. This bone at the root of the tail controls the tail, unsurprisingly. The tail will follow behind automatically as you move. The big red square controls the fluffy's head position. Rotate to twist and turn the head as desired. The green goggles in front of the fluffy's head controls its eyes. The main segment changes its look direction, while the smaller internal circles controls individual eyes for those special kinds of fluff. You know the type. Above the eye controllers are a set of blue arrows. These control the eyebrow positions. Certain facial expressions might clip with the eyebrows, so use the main arrows to adjust their position accordingly. You can rotate it along the x-axis to quickly raise or lower both eyebrows. Use the smaller controls to move the eyebrows independently for advanced expressions, such as raising an eyebrow. You'll notice that above the rig there is an expression panel. Currently there are 2 quick expression modifiers to give you a few basic morphs. On the left is the facial expressions panel, and on the right the eyebrow shape. Clicking a circle in the middle of the square allows you to move towards one of the expressions, and the fluffy's expression will change accordingly. Ditto the eyebrows. Combine the 2 of these panels to make all kinds of expressions easily. Lastly, for the basic controls, the rig comes preloaded with a few basic fluffy poses. Let's check those out before I explain how to customize your fluffy and a few of the more advanced features. In pose mode, simply double click a pose and the fluffy will snap into position. Select the default pose to return it back to its, default pose. Now let's customize our fluffy by clicking on its model. Under the materials section, select the fluffy body v2 material. You can see 2 colors. Color B is your primary fluffy color and A is your secondary. Click color B and adjust its value to recolor your fluffy's body fur. Click color A and you can change its muzzle, ears and hoof coloration. Scroll down and you'll find a material named fluffy_main 01. This controls the mane and tail coloration. Now let's customize the fluffy's eyes. Open the shading window. Now click an eye to get started. It doesn't matter which. Find the eye color sync node and click the little icon in the top right. Adjust the colours in the colour ramp to change the Fluffy's eye colour. White is the outer eye, and black is the inner eye. All the colours in between. Change the iris colour. Finally, in the model's particle systems, you'll find its current fur settings. I'm hoping to add a bunch more in the future, but currently there's one body hairstyle, 2 manes and a tail. Use the viewport and render visibility controls to set which type you like. Now for a few more advanced bits. Under Shape Keys, you'll find a selection of individual expressions for eyes, mouth and ears. Click and drag the values to increase the range on the expressions. You'll also find some more customization here in the way of body types: thin, fat and even bowl fluff. You can also combine fat and emaciated to make a buff Fluffy. Also included in the scene is the same rig sized down to foal proportions. They're in a separate collection, so you can just import the foal if you'd like for a scene. That about covers everything. Have fun and experiment. I'd love to know if someone makes anything using this rig, and if you'd like, there's a link to my Ko-Fi, or Coffee, I don't know how to pronounce it, in the description below. Happy animating and have fun!